Okay, so we're here today with the BJ Devices TravelBox TB5, small 5-button MIDI controller. I'm using it with the Axe-Fx 2 Mark II. Right now I have a Roland EV5 expression pedal hooked up. It has 2 inputs for expression pedals, so you could hook up a second one of these, as well as 2 relay outputs, so if you wanted to do channel switching on an amp or control another effects device or something, you can send things out. Not a feature that I use, but it's an option. It connects via standard MIDI cables, 5-pin. Comes with a 9-volt adapter, and you can update via the USB port on the back to update new firmware. Currently I have, I believe, the latest firmware on here. It is turning on firmware 2.4 PB. So the cool thing about this box is even though there's only 5 buttons, you can actually get more than 5 options out of here. So there's 2 different layers you can program, a layer A and a layer B. You can assign one set of commands to the first layer, and then by assigning one of the buttons to switch, right now I have button 5 is switching between layers. Layer B, you can have an entirely different set of things for the 4 buttons. The TB5 also has some other brothers and sister devices, larger and smaller versions. So programming this is identical to all the other ones. There's just a different number of buttons available. So this is the 5-button version. So just to kind of go through the options here, we have up and down arrows, which normally will change patches up and down. So if I press up, switches to patch 2 in my Axe-Fx, which is the Morgan AC20. This is the new presets that they just, the Larry Mitchell ones. This is my Fender patch, and so on. And as you notice, the patch name from the Axe-Fx does transfer over. Sometimes not necessarily right away. Sometimes it'll say preset not found, but as soon as you load a new preset, then the patch name refreshes. And in the corner here, I have 2 blinking lights, which indicate the tap tempo. And just to show you how to configure this, if you go to Setup, we have Save to Bank, which will save the features. I'm going to scroll to the right. System Setup, which is all the general things. Button Setup. The Expression, Tap, and Tuner, so Expression Pedal, as well as Tap, Tempo, and Tuner buttons. Relay Setup, which is again for these relay sends. I don't have anything that I use that for, so that's not something I'm that familiar with. So I'm going to skip that. If you want to name a bank, the banks, not a feature also that I use, but I believe they correspond with the banks on the Axe-Fx. And then back to the beginning again. So if you go to the system setup and hit OK, here are our options. We have MIDI channel set to 1, which is the default for the Axe-Fx. Program change mode, you can have it send patch changes or patch changes with banks. So if you needed to jump to the 2nd or 3rd banks on the Axe-Fx, you could do that. On the display, you can configure it to show the preset name, the bank and the preset name, or just the bank. I don't really use banks, so preset name is fine for me. Target device, so we have a whole bunch of different things to choose from. So I have it configured for my Axe-Fx 2, but there's also the older, ultra, and standard. Auto detect, as well as the XL Plus, the TCG Major, the Kemper, or just the regular XL. So I'm going to keep that there. Hitting no will cancel out, whereas hitting OK will save the settings. Baud rate, not really something you need to configure. And that's it, just those couple things. Backing up, scrolling over to the Expression, Tap, and Tuner. So hit OK. So the tap tempo, you would configure to whatever the correct CC is for the device you're connecting to. For the Axe-Fx, the default is 14. Likewise, for the tuner, I'm going to scroll forward a little bit here to the tuner. There it is. You do the same thing, set it to 15, which is the default for the Axe-Fx. Scrolling back to the tap. So there's a couple options for the tap tempo. You could have it display on screen like I do, where it has those blinking squares in the corner. You could have it not display anything. It'll blink the preset name with this option, and then you can select different LEDs to blink the tempo. So, or just yeah. So I like it on the screen, so I'm going to keep that. The type, which for the Axe-Fx you want the CC continuous. For the expression pedal, right now I've just plugged into the first one. So I have this set up to CC16, which is the default external one for the Axe effects. Likewise, when you plug in a second expression pedal, you'll probably set it to 17, which is the default for expression 2, but you could assign it to be whatever you want it to be. Here you can set the sweep curve of the pedal. So I have it set to exponential, but you can also choose linear, with a R at the end, I guess, or non-exponential. So this one feels the most right to me. Although, quick note about the Roland, this is the only one I had that's not currently Velcroed onto a pedal board at the moment, but the EV5s, for whatever reason, have a really bit of a weird sweep where they'll go from all the way on and then instantly jump about 30 values lower and then sweep normally. I've tried this with 3 different Rolands with this, and they all do the same thing. The Rolands, however, work fine with all of my other foot controllers, the MFC and the Morningstar MC6. I've tried some other expression pedals, the Yamaha, the Moog, and the M-Audio ones, and they all work just fine with this. So it's just something about the Roland and the TB5 that don't quite work. So fair warning with that. So here you can calibrate it. Actually, you can see what I'm talking about. So 127, I'm going to inch it back just a little bit. Jumps, yeah, all the way down to 85, like right away. So suppose perhaps changing this to linear. Oh, yeah, it fixes that. However, it's then an really extreme sweep at the bottom. So, but like I said, some other expression pedals don't seem to have that issue. So let me change that back to exponential. Okay, and then here you'd calibrate it, hit OK. Set it to low value, hit OK. Set it to high value, hit OK. And it's calibrated from 0 to 127. And then here's the same stuff just for the second expression pedal. So the value, the sweep type, and the calibration. And then here's the stuff for the tuner. Again, set it to the right CC value. And then for the tuner, to activate the tuner, you hold down any button for, in this case, 1000 milliseconds. You can set it to what you want. That's a really nice feature, is that you don't have to have a dedicated tuner button, say like on the MFC. Any one of these buttons, which is already something else, will also be the tuner button as long as you hold it down for more than a second. Likewise, all of them are also a tap tempo button. So, for example, say if you have this as a patch change, if you tap it, then you're setting the tap tempo. If you hold it down for a second, it's the tuner. So 3 things in 1, basically, which is a very, very nice, efficient way use of this. And then, yeah, we're back to the beginning again. Okay. Okay, so now for the buttons, we have 5 buttons, so you could assign them to be any 5 things that you want, or if you dedicate one of the buttons to be the shift between layer A and B, then you have 4 buttons, and then on layer B, a completely different set of 4 options, so effectively 8 different buttons. So to demonstrate, on layer A, I have this set to scenes 1 through 4, and on layer B, I have this as 4 of my most commonly used effects: drive, delay, chorus, and boost. So right now I'm in scene 1, which is just a clean Fender Deluxe with some delay. Scene 2 turns off the delay and on a drive. Actually, we're sorry, with the delay still on. Another delay. Or if I want to manually adjust things, I can turn the delay off. Turn the drive on. And so on. So to show how to configure this, go to Setup, scroll over to Buttons, hit OK. So we have button 1, and hit OK. We have the type of button. So this is a continuous controller, and it'll send the type and value. So right now this is a scene change. So scenes are 34 on the Axe effects, and number 0 is scene 1. So whatever scene you want, you have to subtract 1 from it. So scene 2 would be value 1. So for this button, it's CT34-1, and so on. So there's also toggle, which is what you're going to be using for blocks, typically, basically just on and off. This is not something I use, so I'm not really sure what it is, to be honest. Then we have momentary. So if you hold something down, it'll engage, and as soon as you let go, it'll disengage. We have bank up and down. and patch changes. So scrolling over here, I have, like I said, first 4 are all scene changes, so they're all the same thing, just different values. And then button 5 is set to shift. Then after that is the alternate options. So button 1 shift, so on the second layer, layer B, I have set to CC toggle 49. 49 is the value for the drive block. Button 2 is 47, which is delay, and so on like that. And then this isn't configured right now because this is set to be shift, so it hogs the whole button for just shifting. And then bank switching mode, you can get an external bank switcher and plug it into an expression port on this, but that's not something I use. So then back to the beginning again. So you can also set this to do patch changes. So say if I change this, I'm going to scroll up to patch change. The way to configure that, I'm going to back out of here. Oops. So actually, I probably should set 2 of them to be. Oops. There we go. 2 of them to be patch changes. So this makes more sense. There we go. Okay. So save that. Back up. I haven't saved anything yet. To save something so that way when you power off the device and power back on, it saves. You have to save the bank, hit OK a couple times, but I don't intend on saving this at the moment. All right, so patch change. Right now this is set to preset 1. That one's set to preset 2. Notice the red LEDs for patch changes. If you want to change this while you're on this preset, just scroll. There's preset 3. There's preset 4. So now there are presets 3 and 4. So you can program these to be whatever you want in whatever order. It doesn't have to be a numerical order. So this could be preset 1, this could be preset 102. Doesn't matter. Now another really nice feature that I like about this is that there's only 5 buttons. So depending on the gig you're playing or the group you're playing with, you might need patch changes, or you might be just parked in one patch the whole time and changing scenes or changing effects. So the cool thing is if we go back to the setup buttons. Patch button 1. So I last changed this to the patch change, but if I go back to the CC continuous, it remembered what I last set it to. So that's scene. And likewise, if I go back and change the second back. So for each type, whether it's continuous, which you'd use for scenes, toggle, which you use for blocks, or patch changes, it remembers what you last set it to. So that way you can effectively have multiple different things that you can switch between depending on what your needs are. You don't have to completely reprogram it and memorize, okay, delays, 34, 37, or whatever the number is, and so on like that. So very, very useful. I'm going to back out of here and actually save it this time. Save the bank, okay. Select bank 1, okay, saved. And then exit. So that is the TB5. Very nice little box. Retails for about $200 US. And very, very small and lightweight. This is mounted to a pedal train 3, I believe, and works well with other expression pedals other than the EV5, and it still works, it just has a bit of a weird sweep for whatever reason. So hope this was helpful to you, and check it out. Thanks.